Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next level tactics. From offsite and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition. Now, here's your host, Timothy Carter.
Thanks for joining me on the podcast. Today we're going to talk about the 15-point checklist you need for every piece of content. You've heard it before. If you want to be successful in content marketing or SEO, you need to consistently produce high-quality content for your brand. But high quality is a generic and ambiguous term that can mean a lot of things. It theoretically refers to multiple mediums of content and applies to content written for any strategy for any brand. But what does it actually mean? Is there some kind of switch that triggers and suddenly turns a low quality piece into a high quality one? Well, it's not a binary system, there's a sliding scale of quality, and obviously you want to get as high on that scale as possible. If you're concerned or confused about the ambiguity, man, I can't talk today, of the term in relation to your own strategy, refer to this 15-point checklist, which, I've used to define high quality as concisely as I can for what we do. Number 1, is your topic unique? If your topic is one that's already been done to death, don't bother writing it. It'll fail to generate any, truly meaningful momentum, and most users won't even notice it. If you're doing something that's already been covered, you need to offer a new or unique spin on it. Number 2, do you have a compelling descriptive headline? The headline is one of the most important parts of any piece of content. It's also what Google will use to interpret the intention of the article and what will, form users' first impression, if your title isn't descriptive or accurate or compelling and concise, users won't click on that search result. They'll scroll to something else. So really spend some time here thinking about this initial headline. Number 3, is your content useful to the reader? After someone reads your article, will they walk away with something of value? Will they have the means to accomplish one or more of their goals? Will they have a better understanding of a certain topic? So you need to offer some kind of value here, a takeaway that they can use. Number 4, does your content, exhibit your unique brand voice? If you don't already have a thought out, well-described idea for your brand voice, that's the first step. A consistent, unique brand voice is the only way to build a loyal audience over time. When completing your piece, make sure it keeps that brand voice, showcased and consistent throughout the pieces. Number 5, is your content an appropriate length? Then this totally can be subjective, Generally, lists and those bite-sized forms of content that need to be short, under 1,000 words, or under 5 minutes in video form. More comprehensive, research-based pieces need to certainly be longer, over 1,000 word minimum for a piece of content, and definitely over 5 minutes for video. No matter what length, make sure every word or every minute is used to add value, just not fluff. Number 6, have you included proper background research? Obviously no topic exists in a vacuum, and even if it's never been, explored fully before, others in the industry may have written about similar or related topics. So be sure to do your background research before writing on the piece, and, maybe include that information in your finished product. Number 7, do you have internal and external links embedded? Good pieces of content rely on other pieces to bolster them. So your article should feature links to other pieces in your own archive, obviously to support your own structure and add, the value to both the reader and Google's bots, and those external links to outside sources that support your angle and your claim and are an additional resource and value add to that reader. Number 8, do you take advantage of multiple mediums? Few content pieces are really successful in only one channel. If you write an article, for example, it's a good idea to include images or embed video. And, if you do a video, include still images or written phrases to complement that work. Number 9, are you adding something original to the discussion? There's already been a discussion around this topic, even if your topic is somewhat unique. Are you adding something original to it that's maybe never been mentioned before or the angle described before? You got to think of ways to get outside of the box. 10, is your content easily readable or understandable? This is, again, another subjective measure, but it's an important one too. You got to consider your audience. Are you using words and terminology that maybe are too complex for them to understand? Are you writing in a way that's difficult to decipher, or is it just flat out confusing? You want to be as simple, clear, and concise as possible for your ideal clients. Number 11, is your content organized logically? Just like a good novel, content should have a beginning, middle, and end with well-structured parts in between. If your content isn't organized logically, it'll throw users off and they'll click off your page. 12, is your format aesthetically pleasing? Most web users these days, they have little patience for unorganized or weirdly formatted content. Your articles should feature numbered lists, bullet points, subheadings, things to make them scannable and easy to follow. 13, does your content actively engage an audience? Going back to, that user persona. It's not enough to just talk to an audience. You have to invite the audience on the other side of the conversation. Encourage users to maybe even rebut or comment, and encourage them to follow your advice and report back with results or what their experience is with your product. Keep your audience engaged. 14, is your content generally comprehensive? Have you explored everything related to your topic? And if you don't have enough room to do this, you can mention, side topics in passing along with a link so users can do their own, additional research. And that can lead back to some of your other internal content as well. And I guess the last point, number 15, will other people cite your content? And this can be a hard question to answer, but think about how other authorities in your industry will receive this content as well. Maybe will they mention it in their own posts? Will they use your information as research for future content? The more likely you're to be cited, the better, obviously. So that's always a value add. And I guess, follow this checklist. It's a few things there, but you should have a high quality piece of content on your hand, once you've gone through this. Google will see this content obviously as more authoritative than others, and your readers will appreciate it too, which means, there's going to be more time on your site going through that information. It means you may earn more loyal readers, more brand enthusiasts, more followers, and of course, the goal on the SEO side is more links and shares. So keep your standards high, and your content and or SEO strategies will reward you over time. And I think that's about it for today's episode. So, we do offer custom, content writing services for your SEO and, your marketing initiatives. So if you need some help with creating that content, then you want to outsource it, come on over to SEO.co and schedule a time to have a free consultation. Learn how we can help you scale your ability to outwrite and outrank your competition.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.